Want to sell your handmade products to stores? If you're curious about how to get started selling your handmade goods to independent retail shops and boutiques, you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to be sharing 5 tips for how to get started. Hi, this is Badass Creatives, and I'm Mallory Whitfield, the marketing mentor for badass artists and makers just like you who want to sell more of your work and market your products in a way that feels sustainable and authentic and won't lead to burnout. I've taught marketing to hundreds of creative entrepreneurs and small business owners as a frequent speaker at events like Craftcation Conference, as a former adjunct professor at Tulane University's School of Professional Advancement, and through my own program, the Badass Creatives Marketing Accelerator. Back when I was running my own handmade business, I carried work by other artists and makers in addition to my own handmade products. My goal at the time was to eventually open a brick and mortar retail shop. And while I never quite got to the point of signing a lease on a storefront, I did carry work by other artists at lots of festivals and events and art markets. I also worked in independent retail shops here in New Orleans for a long time, and we would frequently get approached by local artists who wanted us to carry their work in the store. So here are my 5 tips on what you should do to get started selling your products in retail stores. First, do your research. Before you ever get started trying to sell your products in stores, you should have a pretty clear idea of who your ideal customer is and what makes your brand special. Start your research by making a list of stores that you think might be a good fit for your product. Ideally, they should have a very similar ideal customer as your brand. If you're thinking about reaching out to local stores to carry your work, you'll want to do a visit to the stores first to kind of do some reconnaissance. Now, at this point, I wouldn't recommend asking to meet with a buyer or shop owner just yet. This is purely research. You want to visit as if you were a customer yourself and pay attention to the other customers around you. Are they a good fit for your ideal customer? Are they a good fit for your product line? Also, make a note of some of the other brands and artists and makers that this shop carries. Overall, does it feel like a good fit for your vibe? Now, if you want to reach out to stores in other areas where you can't make an in-person visit, you can still do a lot of this research online. Check out their website, of course, but you should also check out online reviews like Google and Yelp. My second tip is you want to respect their time. Whether the store is local in your neighborhood or on the other side of the world, you'll want to check out their website and see if they have any information for people just like you, people who want to sell their work to the shop. A lot of times when retail boutiques work frequently with independent artists, designers, and makers, they might have something like this already on their website. So you want to see if they have it and follow all of their instructions to a T. For example, one of my favorite independent retail shops here in New Orleans is a shop called Miette. They've been around for more than a decade and they work with lots of independent makers and designers. So they have a page on their website dedicated to selling your wares to their shop. If you can't find a page like this on the company's website, send them an email. Let them know why you think your products would be a good fit and make it really specific and relevant. For example, you can say, I noticed you carry brand X and my products are sort of similar, but with a little bit of a twist. Make it really clear that you understand their work and know what their store is all about and really understand that your products would be a good fit. You want to respect their time because a lot of these shop owners get so many irrelevant pitches, so you want to make sure to only spend your time pitching to shops that really are a good fit for your brand. Notice how I said shoot them an email. A lot of independent retail boutique owners are wearing all of the hats. They're doing all of the things. They're helping customers, they're checking in inventory, they're managing employees. And so getting a phone call pitching your work is not exactly how they want their day to be interrupted. I would definitely recommend sending them an email. That's how most of the independent shop owners I know prefer to be contacted. Number 3 is follow through. Now, remember, a lot of these independent shop owners have a lot on their plate. They are very small businesses. Sometimes they are one-person operations, and so they are doing a whole lot of things. And just because you don't get a response right away doesn't mean that they're not interested, and it doesn't necessarily mean that your products aren't a good fit for them. Sometimes it just means that your email fell to the bottom of a long list of emails. Be persistent, but don't be a pest. Make sure to follow up at least once or twice, but wait a few days before you send that second email. And if you're going to send a third or a fourth email, wait at least a week or 2 between them. To make it easy when you send that first email, I recommend adding a reminder to your calendar on your phone or using an app like Todoist to automatically remind you in a week or 2 to send that second nudge. My 4th tip is to keep it simple. Maybe you've seen fancy catalogs or lookbooks with professional models wearing handcrafted artisanal jewelry or fashion, and they're hanging out in exotic locations and their bodies are contorted at weird angles for fashion. Now, that stuff might look cool, but as an independent designer, it's probably a waste of money. Those sorts of catalogs and lookbooks often just end up in the recycling bin. Most shop owners just want the basics. They'll need your contact info, including your name, company name, mailing address, email, and website address, images of your work, and a simple line sheet with wholesale and suggested retail pricing. Shops will also usually want to know where else your work is sold, especially if there's another shop carrying your work in their same neighborhood or in their same city. Make sure to keep all of this information as clear and organized as possible. If you offer different sizing options or different color options, things like that, make sure that it's really easy for them to see all of the different options all at once, along with the pricing. Basically, you want to make it super easy for them to write a purchase order and buy from you. If you have a section of your website dedicated to wholesale or an online line sheet, even better. Some independent shops and buyers actually prefer using a site like Faire to do their wholesale purchasing. If you're super serious about getting your work into lots more stores, this can be a really great option, as a site like Faire could connect you with tens of thousands of retailers around the world. Either way, these days, a lot of boutique owners really do prefer keeping things online, whether ordering through a site like Faire or through the wholesale section of your own website. So whatever you do, make it as easy as possible for these shops to place their orders with you. And my fifth tip is be prepared to offer samples or provide a trial. When you're first pitching to a new shop, some shops may request a sample of your work. Now, this isn't usually a requirement because often shops won't give these samples back. And if you're just getting started selling to retail stores, some shop owners could be risk averse and hesitant to take on a new maker, especially when economic things are tight. In this case, you could offer to do consignment, at least on a trial basis. Now, a lot of makers don't prefer to do consignment, some do, it really just depends. But if you're gonna do consignment, make sure you have all of the expectations from both parties clear and in writing. What is everybody making, the shop owner and you, and what are all of the different terms? Get it in writing. So, have you had success selling your products to stores? If so, let us know in the comments. Is there any tips that I missed? And if you're just getting started with your handmade business, head over to badasscreatives.com for more tips like this. And be sure to subscribe. And hey, let me know what you want to learn more about in a future video. I'll see you in the next video.